Well, new at 6 o'clock, the lawsuits against Rockstar and Varsity Cheer continue to pile up, with a fourth, fifth, and sixth filed this week, detailing more allegations of abuse against those cheer organizations. The lawsuits allege there was not just abuse at the hands of Rockstar Cheer founder Scott Foster, but also members of his coaching staff. Jane Doe number 8 is one of the new plaintiffs. She says when she was 15 years old, Coach Josh Guyton took her to a party at another coach's home. They say he forced her to play a game involving inappropriate touching and used drugs and alcohol. The lawsuit says Guyton then took the 15-year-old up to a bedroom and assaulted her. Now, we are going in depth, talking with a cheer safety advocate to break down the lawsuits and ways we can prevent this from happening again.
And for more on these latest lawsuits in this Rockstar Cheer scandal, we want to bring in the founder of the National Cheer Safety Foundation, Kimberly Archie. So Kimberly, thank you for joining us once again here this evening. I want to go ahead and bring you first the Varsity statement that we received, is because we haven't heard from Varsity in some time. But in response to these latest 3 lawsuits, they sent us a statement, which reads in part, quote, here, "Our concern is for the survivors and their families. Children should be protected and safe at all times, and no child should ever be exposed to the kind of abhorrent behavior and abuse alleged in the complaints." Now, it goes on to say, "We reject any accusation that Varsity's spirit enables such unthinkable behavior, and we are committed to supporting survivors in their pursuit of justice against those individuals responsible." Now, again, we haven't heard from Varsity in some time. Now we get this statement. Your response to what they had to say.
It doesn't feel very genuine, although it sounds like all the right things that someone should say. It sort of sounded like something that I would write, which is ironic, because Varsity hasn't been involved in any of the aspects of justice on behalf of injured child athletes. They've been on the other side. They've been the defendant in lawsuits, and their historical behavior patterns have continued to be on the side of profits over children. So while I would like to say good job for not saying something entirely offensive to the victims, it is sort of offensive because there's no actions behind these words. Like, when are they going to do something and not just cover it up or talk about what they're going to do?
And what are some of the things that you would like to see Varsity do at this point? Is because these lawsuits, again, we've had 3 more that continue to pile up.
Well, I think the first thing that we would all like to see is that they do something similar to USA Gymnastics, and they're going to have to clean house at USA Cheer and USASF, or their customers aren't going to trust them again. They're going to have to earn back trust by doing actual things that make a difference, which be putting in leadership that people can rely on. And historically, that hasn't been the case. Once they're able to do that, then they can start working with child abuse experts to implement programs that actually have some, backing to them. You can't just watch a video and tell people they're supposed to report abuse and the problems will go away. It's not enough.
And I want to get your reaction again to these 3 more lawsuits. The attorneys representing these 2 Jane Does and John Does saying that every new survivor comes with a new horror story. And so reading over these new details once again, it talks about the bigger scheme of it with Scott Foster and some of the coaches, those allegations there that multiple coaches really were involved in some of this abuse there according to those lawsuits. So reading over the continued widespread aspect of these alleged abuses, what was your reaction?
I wish I could say I was surprised, but not really, after we've seen things like what's happened with USA Gymnastics or USA Swimming or Taekwondo or, say, the Catholic Church. A lot of this is sort of unfortunate textbook-like behavior, but it is still shocking to read these details. And I agree with the attorneys, with every new case are just more horror stories. And these are real people. These are children. And there's a lot of research about what happens to our health in the long term, as opposed to the type of abuse that we suffer as children. So, the effects of what has happened in our industry will impact the victims for a lifetime.
And real quickly here, we know that there are at least 100 victims here in these lawsuits that are alleging abuse at the hands of Rockstar Cheer Varsity Sports, this widespread ongoing scandal. So what is your message to any of those survivors out there who may have not come forward just yet?
Well, my message to the survivors is that there are people that do care, and while the industry has certainly let them down, there are people and resources and organizations that are here to help, and that it's okay not to be okay. This is a horrific experience, and it's not something that, oh, just being strong is going to be enough. It's okay not to be okay. That's what I would want them to know. This is a difficult time for them, and hopefully they know that they have resources available to them, like Mill Survivor and RAIN are both great resources for victims, survivors of this.
All right, Kimberly, and you brought up a good point. Again, it's important to remember that we're talking about children here. So Kimberly, Archie for us this evening. Thank you.